Hello, my friends, and we welcome you back to another episode of Voices in the Game. Happy you all are along with us. I am so excited to get our conversation started with our guest on today's episode. He is the head baseball coach for Gardner-Webb University in the Big South in North Carolina. He is Mr. Jim Chester. Jim, thank you so much for coming on and taking a few moments out of your day to be with us. We appreciate it.
No problem, Colton. I'm fired up to be here today.
Thank you so much, Jim. And I am extremely excited for this interview because we both have something in common. We are both from Southwestern Pennsylvania, and we are both graduates of Sarah Catholic High School in the Keysport, Pennsylvania. So I've been dying to get you on, Jim, and I'm so excited to be able to get you on today. And I would like to start going back to your roots, Jim, growing up in Southwestern Pennsylvania. When did you first find that ambition to maybe want to be a coach growing up playing baseball yourself?
Well, I obviously from a young age I had a passion for sports. I was an only child, and had some people that lived around me that were a few years older than me. So, I played a lot of backyard baseball, a lot of backyard football, a lot of pickup basketball, growing up. And, some of that seems like it might be a thing of the past. But I have fond memories. But, I did have the opportunity to probably get beat up on pretty good for a long time when I was younger. Because of the ages around me, from that standpoint. And, so blessed that, obviously, I had a very influential figure in my life and my father that just supported me, immensely in anything that I wanted to do, especially the baseball part. He didn't play. He didn't really have an understanding of it, but he was by my side, from the time I was, 3 or 4 when I was touching a bat, ball, whatever it might be. Up until this past February when he passed. So it's he definitely picked up some knowledge along the way, but it was it just a passion and obsession with just being around the game and understanding it, and just hanging out at the fields all the time. And I just at a young age I was I got linked up with the current baseball coach at Sarah, Brian Zarenda, who I'm friends with to this day. And he was obviously in his 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. And he was pushing us and practiced. And, we were practicing every day and doing those type of things. And, those roots, you know what I mean? And, I'm just so grateful too. Like I didn't play in the era where everyone had 2 bats, a glove, 3 pairs of spikes, 2 bags carrying it in and all that. I had the same glove for I think 10 or 12 years and just loved to play. I love to play baseball. You speaking from a Division I perspective, I wasn't a very good player. For Liberty, Glassport, and Port View, yeah, I was probably a pretty good player. But I just love to play. Just love to play. And that's carried over into my spot for coaching. And I know I'm getting ahead of what you asked, but my college coach, Joe Shawley, was, he's arguably like part of the best baseball coaching family in the history of baseball. His father won 2,000 games at Marietta. His brothers won 1,000 games at Ashland. And Coach, I know as well, is over 700, maybe 800 wins at Teal. And, he's the one that looked me in the eye, when I was like any other 22-year-old, like, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do? And he told me, he says, you should get into college coaching. And fast forward in 2025, here we are on this podcast.
What are your favorite memories playing at Teal, Jim? And what are some of those things with your own experiences as a college baseball player, that you tried to pay it forward to your players today?
Yeah, I think that college baseball today is in a way different spot than it was in the early 2000s. You went to college then and you stuck it out, and you played your 4 years, 5, maybe 5, at your institution, and you came together. I think that what I really learned, and a lot from a couple of things from Coach, is, coach is really organized, is very communicated at a high level. And I think that's one of the strong suits that I have. And I try to instill that in our players, and that's a paying it forward piece that I try to pay it forward on a daily basis. The other thing is, we were my first year at Teal. I think we won maybe 12 or 13 games. Our second year, we won 10 with the same group of guys, and they were playing as freshmen. So, and then, coach really instilled in us to keep showing up, right? Just keep working. Maybe you're not going to see the results that second, but they're coming. And, we won the regular season championship my junior year at Teal, and then lost in the conference championship. And then our senior year, we tied for first for the regular season. Then we won the conference tournament, and they haven't won. They haven't been back there since for that. And it's it's a special thing for me. But I was able to be part of a rebuilding process and be able to see like the growth of a program and all. And I think a lot of those attributes, run with me today. And I'm very proud of it. And I'm proud I played Division III baseball. I'm proud I played somewhere for 4 years. I'm proud that I was able to make an impact. And it was a special time in my life.
And you made the jump to the Division II ranks when you got your first coaching experience at Seton Hill. So what was that experience like at Seton Hill, just first breaking in the coaching, knowing that was your first opportunity?
Yeah, it was actually the first year that they had males on campus. It was when they had made the addition for baseball, basketball, a lot of sports were added. So I mean, it's quite an interesting story, and we were NAIA then.
Huh.
Coach Marizaldi, who's had an unbelievable career at Seton Hill, I was able to be part of his first staff, and learned a lot from him. And he was a really young coach then, but is obviously very, very good coach. And he also was very organized and a very, very good communicator and recruiter. And just, I was able to take some pieces from that. If you'd have asked me that I was going to get a master's degree when I was 14, 15 years old, I think myself and a lot of people around me might have laughed. And what a great opportunity it was for me to further my education and be the first person in my family to receive an advanced degree. So it was special for me, but I learned a lot. I really did.
That's amazing, Jim. I never knew that. I live not even 15 minutes away from Seton Hill, and I never knew that. That is really cool.
Oh, I could tell some story. There were some really interesting moments in the integration of the co-ed campus. It just, the school was ran by, and again, I don't remember exactly the name of the order, but there were nuns that ran the school, and they that was a change for them.
Yes, most definitely.
A little bit of a change.
Yes, most definitely. I can't believe it. Living 15 minutes away from Seton Hill my whole life, and I never knew that. And the opportunity came for you to head up to the northeastern side of the state for your first head coaching experience at the junior college ranks at Mercyhurst Northeast. So take us through your time there, Jim. What were some of your favorite memories there, and what were the biggest things that you learned knowing you were a head coach for the first time?
Yeah, there's a couple things that I really learned through that process. Again, I was 26. And again, like any person that's in that age range, and even when I was in college, you think you know everything, and then I got thrown into being the head coach, and it's a great opportunity, and I really didn't know anything, to be honest. When I look back, I was, but the one thing I think is, I wasn't afraid. I'm not afraid to make a mistake, and to this day I'm not. But I do believe that's how you learn, and that's how I learn, and that's how I grow, and you learn from your mistakes and you move on. And I learned the power of networking. I spent a lot of time in those first couple of years working camps at the University of Pittsburgh. Was able to really develop an unbelievable relationship that carries to today with Coach Joe Giordano, who was the head coach there. And, Coach Giordano was a legend at Mercyhurst, still is. And, he knew that when he had camp, I showed up early. He knew I helped set up. He knew I worked hard. I was the last one to leave. I helped clean up. These were just things that were instilled in me about where I was from and my father and just my upbringing and my makeup. So when that job came open, Coach, the power of a phone call is what I learned. and Coach Giordano made a phone call for me, and the rest was history. My career got started and got rocking and rolling, and that's what I learned from it. It was a sad day a few years ago. They closed the school, but that's where I got my start, and it's a special place for me.
And you had the chance to move back to the Mon Valley not too long after to be the head coach of Penn State Greater Allegheny, having so much success there with your 3 PSUAC titles and your trips to the USCAA World Series. So what are your favorite memories there, Jim, and how were you able to build the pieces to have so much success during your time at Penn State Greater Allegheny?
Yeah, I thought when I was coming home, right? I went to high school right next to Penn State Greater Allegheny, obviously, and I grew up just a few miles from there. And people thought I was crazy, especially from the standpoint of I was at Mercyhurst Northeast was a Division II junior college. We gave scholarships. We had Division I players on our roster, all that type of stuff, but the lure of going home was and I'm telling you, I made that move at 28 years old with the thinking that I was going to stay there and win 1,000 games and just retire there and all of that. That was the intention. Even though I took the job part-time, I made $5,000 when I first took the job to make ends meet. I was the freshman basketball coach at Elizabeth Forward High School, where current big leaguer Dan Altavilla was my point guard. I also worked home Steeler and Pirate games. I was a concession stand manager during that time. I worked night turn at Toys R Us at Christmas time, select days of the week for extra money to make ends meet. I did that for approximately 18 months before I became an admissions counselor and had a full-time salary. So, there was a lot of some trial and error that went on during that process. But, we were coming off an 0-9, 9 games they played the year before we arrived. There was a bucket, maybe a few balls, a bat, half a set of uniforms. I mean, it was interesting. But again, it's all part of the story. And it's all part of, the growth and having an understanding. Well, what a challenge. And, we had to hit the trail and just really worked really hard. I was at a field, in Western Pennsylvania every night for unless I was working a Pirate game, in the summer. Just networking, growing, and developing the relationships that were needed for us to get the players that we needed, for us to go where we need to go. I owe everything to my time at Penn State Greater Allegheny. Again, I was a part-time coach and then an admissions counselor. Then I was the director of athletics for 5 years. I had a lot of great experiences. Never had a home field. Practiced in a parking lot. I got a picture of the parking lot right to my right here that I see every morning. So anytime I get frustrated or I feel like something's not going right here at Gardner-Webb, I just look and go, I could be banging baseballs up on that parking lot. But I hear from 75% of those guys that I coached on those teams. And I know that they're thankful for what we did during that time. And I think it helped mold them into the successful men they are today. So I could go on and on about, started wrestling programs, started soccer programs there, brought golf back. I learned a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So, like I said, I use a lot of those experiences today.
Yes, most definitely, Jim. That is all amazing. And then you had the chance to move up to the Division II ranks with heading to Lockhaven to be their head coach in the PSAC, and then also spending 2 seasons at Barton in the Carolinas. So what are some of your favorite memories from both of those stops, especially those 2 years you were at Barton, knowing that you were able to really have that improvement from 12-16 in 2018, the 31-20 in 2019?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen, the Lock Haven move was a strategic one. Again, it was taking me well out of my comfort zone. Like I'm a Yinzer, and I was a guy like, I mean, I thought I'd live in the Mon Valley the rest of my life, and I'd have been completely happy with that. But I was like, I think there's more out there. And I don't want to say I had it figured out, but we had a really good run, 2000, whatever, 11 through 14 at Greater Allegheny. And I just not sure we were going to get any better. I mean, I was at an age there where I was like, I'm in my early 30s. I'm like, I want to take a shot at this. Like, I want to see what we can do. Lock Haven was pretty much the worst program in the PSAC, or one of the two worst. And I was like, let's go give this a shot. And if it don't work out, I can come back to home or Greater, wherever it may be, and do that. And we went in, and it was an unbelievable experience for 3 years. And we had the school's modern highest draft pick in modern era, and made the PSAC tournament in 17, and which hadn't happened for years. And just it set the school record for wins, and just an unbelievable group of young men. I mean, one of those guys on that team is our pitching coach right now, Tom Cockle. And I hear from all those guys. I mean, Tyson Petersheim is an assistant at Virginia Tech. We got guys coaching in high school ranks all over the place from that team. I mean, it was just a special group, super special group. A large group that I hear from every Christmas and in times like that. But from that, it was an unbelievable experience. And my wife is from Western Pennsylvania too. She went to York, and she also spent she played basketball at Brunswick Community College and spent some time in Wilmington. So she had a fondness for the Carolinas. And being a baseball coach, it was definitely a maybe something to explore the weather. So when the Barton job opened mid-year, we had some interest, and I threw my name in the hat. And the next thing we were able to, this is another key piece into my coaching career that I like to share is like, we're coming off the greatest season in Lock Haven history. And for whatever that's worth, there was a lot of pride in the program. We built the facility up. We had really good players. We had a 10th rounder. Like I can go through, and there's a lot of good vibes. And here I go and pick up and make a move, right? And go to, baseball in the Northeast is really good. Division II baseball is really good in the PSAC. It's also pretty darn good in the Southeast. I jump into the Barton job, and you think you got things figured out. I mean, like I said, it's a really good teaching point for me in my life and my career. I thought like, oh, I'm gonna walk in there like I'm the man. You know what I mean? We just came off this great season. Like I can walk in here and I'll take over this. We're gonna be great. We proceeded to go 12-36. So it was a lonely dugout. And it was a very good learning experience for me. And there were a lot of days I sat at home with my wife and we were like, did I make the right call? After, lose 5 in a row, win a game, lose 6 in a row, win a game. I mean, it was tough, but we didn't know any other way to do it. So just went back to work. Brought in I think about 40 guys that year, and had the largest turnaround in Division II baseball history, from 12 wins to like whatever it was, 31 or 32. And just, it was a fun year, a really fun year. What a great group of guys. I really believe myself and our staff are the right people for that group. They were fun loving, and they just loved to play too. And it was a lot of fun. Or a great year. And so yeah, it was. Those were some unbelievable experiences in my life.
And how did that opportunity first come, Jim, to take this head coaching opportunity that you have now at Gardner-Webb?
Yeah, I have an agent, and when I was going through this process, I was not looking for a job at all. Again, coming off one of the best seasons in Barton history, and had this huge turnaround, and things are feeling good. Got a lot of guys coming back, all that, and I remember like it was yesterday. I was actually at Lowe's, and anyone that watches this and knows me knows that I can't screw in a light bulb. So I was trying to figure something out in my house. But my agent called me and said, "Would you have interest in Gardner-Webb Division I?" And I was like, he's like, they have some interest, and they were really looking for somebody with head coaching experience, smaller school experience, had a track record of fundraising. And I think I just checked the boxes for what they were looking for. And, next thing you know, one thing led to another. And, I went home to my wife and said, hey, and she already knew. She goes, we just got here. I was like, I know. And we packed up and moved 4 hours west. And here we are 6 years later in seventh season at Gardner-Webb.
Any favorite memories or any games that come to mind from your time so far at Gardner-Webb?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, this Division I season is way different. I mean, I know, I talked to a lot of high school coaches back home and different things. They play 20 games. They tell me what a grind it is. And, even at Lock Haven and Barton, we played 50 games, but it's a lot of double headers in there. We play 56 single games here. It's a grind. People think it's easy to be a baseball player. Think about big leaguers, man. They play 162. I mean, it's more of these grinds are more than what people they don't, unless you did it, you've done it, you have no idea. And the coaching stuff, it's just as hard as playing. It really is. But games, yeah, like, I mean, I got a lot of good memories. I mean, the first win here at home versus App State was really cool. It sticks out in my mind. We've had a few really good walk-offs here at home, some walk-off home run stuff that have been pretty good. We've had some really good wins where, we beat Duke in, what was it, 23, was a really good win, and they made the Super Regionals that year. And then we also beat Michigan State here at home one year. It was a good win. Like, as far as big school stuff goes, memorable moments too. Like, I mean, we were really blessed. We had a really good player here that's having an unbelievable career right now in the big leagues, Mason Miller. I mean, there's some games he pitched here that were very memorable from top to bottom. In fact, Mason threw an immaculate inning the other day, 9 sliders without a foul ball. Pretty cool. Just for baseball junkies, I mean, that's like just, I'm pretty sure I read it's the only immaculate inning. There's only been 9 of them from what I understand. It's the only one ever thrown without a foul ball. But anyway, pretty cool. But anyway, I got off subject there. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of games. I mean, there's just a lot. I mean, I don't know. I loved every game I've been in, and some really cool stuff. I mean, we lost to Clemson. We had Clemson on the ropes, 6th, 7th inning last year. I mean, they were 35-3, and caught them sleeping a little bit. Big crowd. It was a lot of fun. As I said, we've had a bunch of the big Power Fours on the ropes, some games, and had a bench clearing with North Carolina. That went viral a few years ago. A lot of fun. No punches or anything like that, but just pretty interesting. It was interesting enough for John Boy to break it down. So I get from what I understand, I think that means you made it. Yeah, I mean, I could talk on and on. I just, you know what I mean? Every day is a gift from God. I mean, I tell our guys all the time, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today's a gift from God. So, it's been nice to kind of reminisce with you a little bit, but some of these things I've talked to you about and over the last 15, 20 minutes, I haven't talked about in years. You know what I mean? All I'm worried about is once we get off here is us dominating today. That's all I care about. That's all I care about is me getting our team ready and me doing everything I need to do to dominate today and for us to go out and just absolutely crush practice today and get better.
And speaking of what you're doing now, Jim, what are things that you like to, or things that you do during the off season?
Well, for people that are viewing or there isn't an off season. I know a lot of time. I think people may think that baseball coaches throw batting practice, hit fungos, and order T-shirts. It's well beyond that. I'm responsible for approximately 63 people here, between staff, players, and everyone around us. And I'm not trying to, like, it's a big responsibility. So there really isn't an off time or off season. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, about it. The rest of it, we're working towards the goals that we're trying to achieve. So the transfer portal's changed this immensely too. There used to be some breaks in the summer recruiting wise. They're done. It's over. And it's changed, and it's where we are, and it is what it is, and we use it as a benefit, to our program. And but I make sure in turn I say, I don't golf, I don't hunt, I don't fish, I don't play cards. I wouldn't know how to do any of this. I don't have one hobby. I got a beautiful wife. I got 2 young children that are number one in my life. My family's number one, and then Gardner-Webb baseball, second in my life. And I put God first in both of those entities on a daily basis, and that's what I do. I guess you could. I'm a diehard Steeler fan. That's probably my release. So I'm fired up for Sunday at 1:00. But other than that, I'll do anything. People ask me what my biggest fear is. It's retirement. It's my biggest fear because I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably be on the field somewhere. I'll probably be back up in Pittsburgh running around Helen Richie or Boston Field or something, helping out somebody.
Yeah, that's all awesome, Jim. Yeah, and going back to the transfer portal, what is it like now being a Division I college baseball coach in the world that we live in with college sports, with so much buzz around the transfer portal and NIL as well?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. You can only get now with the NIL. I mean, if you're the certain player trying to get, you need to have a certain dollar amount to get on the phone. And it's difficult in that world, the portal world. And then the other end is, we've had multiple players here that we've recruited, identified, and gave early game experience and developed, and they've left and they went to bigger programs and got paid. And it's part of it. Do I hold that against them? No. Is it tough to swallow? Yes. And it's played a huge part. And some results in our season, and we're figuring out our niche and what we need to do and how we're gonna be where we need to be. And but on the other end, it's given me the opportunity. We have 23 transfers that came in this year. It's kind of commonplace now, but with it, that's 23 new guys that I get to pour into, hopefully make a difference in their life, give them a different baseball experience. And there were some really good players. I mean, we had a really good recruiting class, at least from some different publications and different things that go on. And it's just I could sit here and complain to you about all the negativity around NIL and transfer portal, but we try to spin it into a positive and go work at it. It's just another opportunity to pour into another player.
And finally, for you, Jim, what is the balance like with you and your family being a college baseball coach and also being a husband and a dad with your wife, Lindsay, and your 2 kids, Merritt and JJ?
Yeah, I mean, it's a couple things for me, and that I try to work on a daily basis. Number one, my wife is extremely supportive. I mean, she doesn't miss a game. She's at every single, she's here. She takes care of the kids 95% of the time with extracurriculars and different things. But it's just important for me to a couple things. One is, when I'm home, I need to be present. The world of the phone and all that is what can drive you crazy, and the Twitter and the Instagram and all that stuff, and especially in this recruiting world and trying to keep up with the Joneses and all that, is being present at home and just letting them know that they're number one. But my wife doesn't know any different than what my schedule is or our schedule is. My kids know no different. So they know this is dad and this is what dad does. So they spend a lot of time here at Gardner-Webb. They really do. And that's how we make it work. And that's a coach's lifestyle. So it's just kind of the way it is. So it's I think they'd go crazy if I had a 9 to 5. They wouldn't know what to do.
Jim, this was such an amazing episode. Thank you so much for your time for coming on. I really appreciate it, my friend. I really loved hearing your story about starting at Western PA to your time now at Gardner-Webb. Thank you so much for coming on, Jim.
No problem. Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I wish you nothing but the best.